The first is before we start our dish is to bake the spaghetti squash, and we need to put it in a oven for about 20-25 minutes until it gets really nice and soft. And then I need to poke some hole on the top, otherwise it doesn't explode in my face when I'm going to take it out. I'm going to just use it, no hole, nothing, just plain like this in the pan and put it in the oven. Okay, now it's time to get the spaghetti squash out of the oven. First thing I need to do is to open it. All right. I will have to remove the seed from inside the squash. I mean, if you leave some seeds in there, doesn't matter really. I try to scrape as much as I can. It's better to do it with a fork, and this way we can separate the different parts of the spaghettis inside. This vegetable is so simple to prepare, you know, to cook. And I will use a little bit of butter for this recipe here, and a little bit of olive oil. Then I will have the mixed basil that I'm going to melt into the butter. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And then at this point here, I am going to add the spaghetti squash into it. And I'm going to saute this. Finish with a touch of pepper, you know. Okay. And then while this, I will keep this in a warm place until I am ready to set up the fish on the plate. All right, now we are going to be cooking the fish. I'm going to add some canola oil because canola oil can take the heat better. Then I will season the fish with a little salt and pepper on both sides. The fish, make sure the flame is not too hot here. I'm going to dredge the fish into the flour and then add it into the pan. Check the extra flour here. It's a very simple step. That is going to take at least about 2 minutes to cook, okay? And the way to find out is when you are going to put your finger and the finger is going to go through, then that will be a sign. Now remember one thing, that when the fish appear to be cooked, you take the fish out of the pan, it will still cook for another couple minutes and raise the temperature a little more. Then you don't want to have overcooked fish, you know, that's really not what we want, okay? And right now I am flipping over the fish here. It should be almost, I can feel right now. Now you need to know that the fish around the abdomen area has a few bones, you know. Then we need to remove the bones either way with a little special pinch or with a knife where you can go inside the flesh and remove the whole strip of bones. It's kind of easy to find. But those bones are not really that big, and then under the heat they kind of become soft also. If you swallow one, it's no big deal. You take just a piece of bread, you swallow, and then you push the bones down and you say, you don't have to go and see a doctor. Then, at this point here, I am going to remove the fish and put it aside for the making of the sauce. Okay, this particular sauce here is made à la minute. I remove the oil, no oil in there. Then at that point I put the shallots in there, and I'm going to saute the shallots a little bit to give them not a coloration, but just to kind of make them tender and slow, nice and soft. And then right away I will put Cléar's red wine over here that I have. Any kind of wine will do, Pinot, if you're deciding on doing that. It doesn't mean because the sauce is red that I have to have a red wine with it, you know. It could be a very strong Chardonnay with it, you know. It can do the job. Then now what I need to do here is to reduce the red wine for about a couple minutes, because the more wine that you put in there, more reduction you need to do, okay? The wine has to reduce to a syrup consistency. I mean, syrupy, thick, you can tell. You don't want to push that too much, otherwise it's going to burn, okay? The wine is going back to sugar right here. Then, this is a point I'm going to add a little bit of the cream, about a couple ounces. This is not a creamy sauce, by the way. This is a butter sauce, and I need the cream in there to help the sauce to hold, because when I'm going to add the butter, I want to have this sauce to become really as a sauce consistency. And how you tell sauce consistency? You take a spoon and you put it in the sauce, and when you make a straight line that where the two sides don't get together, that will be sauce consistency. Actually now, I wait until this is going down. I have put my vegetable to keep warm in the oven, and I'm going to start to set up the fish. And then when the sauce is going to be ready, I will have this right there, ready to go. I'm going to divide the spaghetti squash and the basil on the middle of the plate here. And then I remove see, it's starting to reduce too much. If you reduce really too much, then the pan is going to be really hot. And when I'm going to add the butter is just going to melt. It's become like oil, and I don't want that, okay? Then I'm going to set up the fish on the top, just like that. Okay? Now, if you figure out that it's too thick, I can still add a little bit of cream to help it to kind of cool down. Because to make this sauce here is a question of temperature. If you have the pan too hot, you melt the butter and then it goes back to oil. Then I'm going to add the butter in there. And then as I add the butter, I don't stop. I just make sure the butter gets really mixed up with the reduction of the wine here. And then I'm going to put a little salt in there. And then I can add some black pepper because it's a dark sauce. You never add some dark black pepper into a white sauce. It doesn't look really that friendly. It looks ugly. Then I'm going to squeeze a little lemon, and I'm going to test with my finger. I think it's just right. And then I'm going to take the spoon, and I'm going to spoon up a little bit of that sauce on the top, right here. Then I will finish with a little amaranth. Amaranth is actually a plant that the Inca used to grow a lot and eat as much as corn. That was their food. And voila.
Want to satisfy your craving for delicious meals without any guilt? Then keep seafood high on your menu. With 30 years' experience, Central Coast Seafood selects from the finest local and worldwide fishermen and producers with an average of 600 fresh and frozen products available daily. At Central Coast Seafood, we pride ourselves on the healthy lifestyle. Make your seafood choices wisely and ask for Central Coast Seafood wherever you shop or dine. Central Coast Seafood, freshest fish on land.
Playhouse Wines, family-owned, estate-grown, pure and ripe yet elegant flavors from Paso Robles. From our popular adobe blends to the rare selections of Playhouse Estate, you're certain to find a wine or two to please yourself, your family, and your friends. Delicious wines for kicking back or entertaining, along with a distinctive selection of wine country gift items, all at Playhouse Wines, open 7 days a week. We look forward to you joining us at Playhouse Wines in downtown Paso Robles, at the corner of 13th and Pine. Playhouse Wines, family-owned, estate-grown, and waiting for you in downtown Paso Robles.
Here we are, Blake, the moment we were waiting for, the moment of truth here. Tell me what you think so far.
Well, I'm really excited. I've worked up quite an appetite watching you cook all day. I believe that the Adobe White will match better, and the Adobe White is predominantly Viognier based, which is very floral. It has flavors of lychee and mango and orange blossoms, jasmine. So I think with this Asian style dish, it's going to match up very well. There's also Grenache Blanc in there, which I think will match with those micro herbs mix.
Yeah.
And then there's also some Sauvignon Blanc for the acidity and the crispness, which should match nicely with the cucumbers.
All right, very good. The first bite, we tried to get pretty much every items in the dish as much as we can to get a general idea.
For me, usually a perfect match for food and wine is when it clears your palate but doesn't overpower the palate. So it's almost like you're tasting the dish for the first time over and over and over and over. So I think that's a very nice match. Should we try it with the rosé?
Well, let's see. Let's try again.
The blend of the rosé is predominantly Mourvedre, which is a a wine that's, or a variety that's grown in the south of France. It's particularly used as a blender in red wines, but it also makes a wonderful pink wine. So that's the lead variety. There's also some Syrah in there, so there should be lots of soft red berry fruits in the wine.
Excellent. Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
There we go. Well, Blake, we are getting to the second dish. You know, the first one was pretty good. Very interesting combination and flavor, a lot of layers here. Then I would like to see how we are going to approach this one. We have left on the table the rosé. You said it was a little more on the sharper side, a little higher from, what did you say exactly?
Knowing the Adobe Red, it pairs well with so many dishes.
Okay.
And this is a very complex dish flavor-wise,
Right.
And it's beautiful colors. I hate to destroy it, but I really want to.
You know, you can destroy it, we can still make another one, you know, that's no big deal. But anyway, yes, I would like to get your input about, should we do a try, first of all, to see how it's going to go with the rosé, and then we decide if, you know, with the red too.
Sure,
Huh?
sounds great.
Okay, very good. All right, then let's try to catch every part of the dish together with a little bit of the sauce. I notice a little bitterness, you know, in
Yes.
the dish. I think it comes from the microgreens. Then I wonder how it's going to go with this one here.
I think immediately that it brings out more sweetness.
Sweetness, yes.
Sweetness in the rosé.
Then that will be more like a contrast.
Yes,
Ah.
exactly.
Then bitterness, sweetness in the wine.
Yep, it tends to pull things out. You know, tart and sweet is a real nice contrast. It's more traditional,
Yeah.
but bitter and sweet sometimes is very nice. Sometimes
Actually,
like an endive salad,
Yeah.
with a sweet or sweeter vinaigrette is
Right.
that bittersweet contrast. I agree.
Well, let's try with the red wine now, you
Okay.
know, and to confirm what we said, yeah. Maybe actually the rosé. You can take a sip of the wine. Well,
That's tough to beat, huh?
there's no separation on this one.
No.
I mean, that particular wine really matched the characteristic of the food altogether. This is so amazing because I think you said you have a little petit Verdot in there.
Yeah, so I think it's mainly Zinfandel base, which has that nice soft fruit. That's where kind of the sweetness comes
Right.
from, and a little bit of spice, hint of spice. There's also Syrah, which makes it very round and viscous. But we also put a few Bordeaux varietals in there, and Petit Verdot being one of them. And it has kind of that green, a little bit of that green
Yeah.
pepper and that beautiful dark purple color, which matches.
That's beautiful.
I think that's a home run.
Then what you're saying is a perfect match.
Yes.
Ah,
I
very
believe
good.
so.
Cheers again. You know, that's
Cheers.
great.
It's
Cheers.
been a pleasure dining with Andre.
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching, and I'm hoping that you learned as much as I did on this show. I want to thank Blake from Clay House Wines, winemaker supreme, I think. He imparted so much knowledge about these wines and certainly was a great input with the food and wine pairing. My husband, Chef Andre, do I dare say Chef Supreme? Maybe I'm a little prejudiced, but he did turn that seafood into two really wonderful dishes. Also, I'd like to thank our other sponsors, Idlers for providing the kitchen facilities, Taylor Rental Party Plus for the table settings, Central Coast Seafood, and Canyon Ranch Farms with microgreens. See you next time.
Thank you for viewing Chef Andre's cooking show. Hi, I'm Don Idler, and we're proud to provide the demonstration kitchen for Chef Andre to film this wonderful show. We invite you all to come down and see just how your kitchen could look at any of our Idler's locations, Paso Robles, Tascadero, and San Luis Obispo.